Agent. Yes, good
All right.
afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are listening to us. This is once again the Consensus Study Group. We hold the Saturday sessions, and there is only one conversation and one theme that is of interest to us, and that is the unification of Africa. The African Revolution, which essentially is the total liberation, unification, and development of Africa, is is what we meet to talk about. We believe that Africa can only be totally liberated when it is totally united. And we believe that Africa can only truly develop as a continent if it is united with one continental government. So that is our belief, and that is what we have a conversation about on Saturdays. On Thursdays, we only hold our philosophical and ideological class where we discuss big things, big ideas, big ideas to do with philosophy and ideology. Recently, on last Saturday, we were discussing Aristotle and how the church used Aristotle or sought to use Aristotle to dominate the world. Today, we have with us our own brother, Larry Mwansa. Our brother is an expert on the blockchain technology. For all we know, it's brothers like him who even created this blockchain thing, because they never tell us when we create these things, they take credit for it and claim that they created it. So when you hear about blockchain, you think it was created by a white man. And for all you know, it's an African brother like Brother Larry that created it, and yet we don't know. There are so many things that we have created that others take credit for. George James has documented a lot of them in Stolen Legacy, and today people are masquerading as if they were us. They take our names, they take our culture, they take our philosophy, they steal our ideology. They just basically pretend that they are us, and they are not us. They are just usurpers masquerading as Africans. And they are everywhere. So we are very pleased to have our own brother Larry here, who is an expert on blockchain technology, and he is going to share with us essentially what it is and how he thinks we can use it to revolutionize African economies. So, Brother Larry, welcome. Welcome. So, my brother Larry was introduced to us by our own brother Kama, who is based in Zambia. So, those who attend our classes and listen are from all over the world. So, Brother Larry, welcome. Over to you now. How long will you speak for, by the way?
I'm hoping I should be done within 30 minutes or less.
Is that enough? Feel free to go to 45 minutes if you have to. Yeah. The whole
yes.
Yeah, the whole evening is devoted to this. So yeah.
All right.
After your presentation, we'll have a discussion. We'll have
All
a
right.
question and answer session. And then after people ask questions, which you answer, and then we'll go into comments and discussions. So once again, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much, my brothers. It's such an honor to be here. And it's also such an honor to come and do what we are so passionate to do for Africa. So as mentioned, my name is Larry Mwansa. I am the communications lead at the United Blockchain Association, United Africa Blockchain Association. So you will find us here. This is our website. We are on ueba.io. So if you need anything, you need to know about us, you can just go through the website. Then you can get a comprehensive on us. So just a bit on who we are. If I can just pull this one up. Our vision as UEBA, UEBA is a non-profit organization formed for the promotion of blockchain adoption in Africa and creating partnerships and networks that deliver on life-changing blockchain projects. Our mission is to unify the blockchain, the Africa blockchain ecosystem towards 8 goals of harmonious coexistence and progress, which are education, financial inclusion, sovereign identity, skills development, job creation, gender equality, fair and efficient trade, and poverty alleviation. So our goal, we started about in 2019, just a group of conscientious Africans who have a passion to participate in the development of Africa. And blockchain as a space has been inundated with all sorts of misconceptions. And obviously where technology is based on making applications in the financial world, you would understand how digital applications might be used for all sorts of things, and also how misinformation can get into the space. So on the back of that, we decided that it is important to educate people out there so that they can know what is and what is not in that space. As you know, cryptocurrencies are the first applications that came out of the blockchain. And with that, there has been all sorts of stories and all sorts of scams, basically because people are not aware. So what we do is educate. We raise awareness, we do education so that people can understand what this thing is about, and also what kind of opportunities are there. We come up with campaigns which we go out to people of all sorts of backgrounds. They can be individuals, they can be organizations, they can even be governments. Recently, especially this year, our main focus was dealing with e-governments in Africa, bringing them together and bringing experts in the field and have that melting pot where, you know, they can understand what this technology is and how, you know, it can help, if it can, in the digital transformation of Africa. So in a nutshell, that is what we are all about. So straight into today's presentation. What is blockchain basically? You know, what is this blockchain, and what can we learn about the potentials that it has for us? You know, what can we focus on or latch on and say, well, at least I understand this, and how do we position ourselves? Is it for us, or is it not? Or can it afford us an opportunity to springboard so that we can meet our objectives? So I hope that by the end of this presentation, you have a better idea of what blockchain technology is. And from the onset, I would like to say this, you know, in as much as we've heard about blockchain being able to solve a number of issues, we must understand that any sort of technology that comes in has also got its own limitations. It cannot solve everything. So what is most important is to understand what are the strengths, and what can you use it for? Because obviously not every tool can do everything. So let's just jump straight into it. What is blockchain? So what I will do, I'll split the presentation, talk a bit about blockchain, its background, then jump straight into some of the potential uses of blockchain, or areas that blockchain can be used for. I thought that would be a better balance, rather than, you know, going heavy into the technological side of it, because this is digital tech, and blockchain is a heavy on the other side when it comes to what really goes into it underneath it, you know. Yeah. So what is blockchain? Blockchain is a growing list of records called blocks that store data publicly and in chronological order. The information is encrypted using cryptography to ensure that the privacy of the user is not compromised and the data cannot be altered. Information on a blockchain network is not controlled by a centralized system, unlike modern financial institutions. The participants on that network blockchain maintain it, and they hold the democratic authority to approve any transaction on that blockchain. So a brief history of blockchain, where it begins from. What about blockchain? What gave rise to blockchain? So blockchain takes from some milestones. As I want you to look at it this way. This has been an evolution in how do we digitize money. As it stands, as the world is getting into the fourth industrial revolution, we have moved from the technological formats that we were using into using digital as the main technological format. So we have seen a number of processes, a number of things that we do going through digital transformation. So we've seen music, we've seen filing, we have seen money itself digitized to a certain level. We've got different sorts of digital money, or a hybrid between other things still being in the hands of humans and other processes, and parts of it being digital. So as digital systems and digital processes are evolving over time, they have to also address the bottlenecks, the limitations that we are currently facing. Digital is becoming faster, so we need processes that are able to meet up with what is demanded right now. As you can see, time and time again, your phones, your tech has to be upgraded to match up with the speed and the requirements that are needed. There was 1G, 2G, up to where we are today, 5G, that is able to carry a faster speed and a wider bandwidth to handle the requirements that we need. So in money as well, there is that cry, or there was that cry to say, well, look, money is not totally digital. So how can we take some of the remaining processes that have stamped people for a while, and see whether we can find a solution to do so. So that is the background, really, from where blockchain and Bitcoin, the first thing that used the blockchain, come from. So let me just share some of the bits of the tech, or the bits of the milestones that occurred. So, like, let's say in 1982, the cryptographer David Kaum was the first to propose a blockchain-like protocol in his dissertation on computer systems established, maintained, and trusted by mutually suspicious groups. Then by 1991, you have Heber and Stonata, basically them being the fathers of blockchain tech, when you think about it in that way. They felt that the development of ways on cryptographically secured chains of blocks, they wanted to use it for systems where document timestamps could not be tampered with. So you see where this is going. Things are placed on digital. How do you, let's say, curb forging, duplications? I have this document. How do I prove ownership? So they are looking at time stamping the documents and placing them in a chain of blocks that way, so that it could aid business as they were dealing with digital documents. So you find these questions, even in money, the question has always been, well, you can do digital money, fully digital money, but how do you sort out for double spending? So if we made money, put it online and all that, who keeps track of who paid who, so that somebody doesn't just come up and make their own currency, or give themselves more zeros in their account. So those are some of the things that as time went by, people were working on. So we see Heber and Stonata pushing that, and also adding what is known as Meko trees to the design so that they could add more in a block. This leads us to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin comes in 2008. So in 2008, Bitcoin comes on the scene, and it is conceptualized by somebody called Satoshi Nakamoto. Whether it's a group of people or whether it is one person, this synonymous person is the one that came up with this. And he borrows from what is known as a Hashcash-like method to design a way to timestamp blocks. So you can say that they are borrowing from other technologies that others had already set. Some of this stuff is not so foreign, especially in computer science, like hashing and all of that. There's some stuff that has always existed, but now being applied as well to, let's say, having a system that can fully operate without trust, and it can be right there on the net without having to go through third parties and all that. So Nakamoto came up with Bitcoin and took out the paper. By then, 2008, I guess, they took out the paper to say, well, this is what is up. This is what we are trying to create. By 2009, Nakamoto used this design as a core component in the implementation of the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, where it serves as a public ledger for all transactions. So basically, the blockchain is a ledger. It's a digital ledger that keeps track of, in this case, it keeps track of blockchain transactions. Not only does it keep track of the blockchain transactions, but worked within it is the ability to also act as a trustless guarantor of that coin. Please forgive my use of guarantor in this sense. I'm using it loosely. So it acts as a guarantor of this. It acts as the central bank itself. So there's no need to have a currency that has to go through, let's say, minting through the central bank, because it satisfies what any monetary organization would have to do within itself. And it's fully digital. So in itself, the experiment Bitcoin was able to show that you could come up with a fully digital currency that can stand alone without having to have a backing of, let's say, a bank, having to have a backing of a government, and it could be used by people. And initially, from the beginning, if you go to Bitcoin and check out their white paper, you would understand that from it, they express their intent to have it as electronic cash, so that people can use it as cash. But as time went on, Bitcoin has had more usage in the area of speculation, where people have used it as a financial tool in investments and all of that. And you find that in that area of the market, it has garnered much, much more. And one other thing about it is the volatility that comes with that setup, which means that it is not stable enough to be used on a day-to-day basis as you would use, like, let's say, your CD in Ghana, Kwacha in Zambia, or the US dollar, in that sense that it has got that stability. The markets are stable. So those are some of the limitations when it comes to coins like Bitcoin. But how has that been mitigated? That has been mitigated by the development of cryptocurrencies that are pegged to, let's say, your fiat money. So you can have it pegged to a dollar, you can have it pegged to a CD, and that way you have a cryptocurrency that is able to be useful for everyday use. So in a nutshell, that is what brought about blockchain. And the first applications of it was cryptocurrency. my brother, Mr. Kama, will go in depth with cryptocurrency. I'll go straight into some of the applications of blockchain that can also shed light on how do we approach it as Africa, and what kind of places can we see adoption in that sense. So blockchain and cryptocurrency hold significant potential to revolutionize African economies by addressing long-standing challenges such as financial inclusion, transparency, economical inefficiencies. So you get this list. You have financial inclusion, you have got increased transparency, you have economic empowerment, cost-effective data management and identity solutions, empowering African entrepreneurs. You can look at it from agriculture, value chains in that sense, and infrastructure development, energy in that sense. We can look at it in that way. So looking at financial inclusion, and this is the beauty of the emerging technologies that have worked to disrupt the financial sector, in that they have come in to solve the issue of the unbanked. So where you can be part of a financial system without having to go through the hurdles of you getting a bank account and all of that goes with, getting into the financial system in any country. And here in Africa, many have been hampered, in such that they are outside they are unbanked. The level of the statistics of unbanked people worldwide and in Africa is staggering. It's staggering. People don't have access to financial services because, the level, the barrier to entry is high. So blockchain offers an opportunity to access banking systems, helping the unbanked and the underbanked. Blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies offer an alternative to traditional banking. Cryptocurrencies, as I said earlier on, especially stable coins pegged to assets, gold, other money, can help people store money, send money, receive funds without the need of a bank account. And that's the beauty about blockchain. It's peer-to-peer. These transactions don't need to go through an institution. It is straight from one person to the other. There is no need for jurisdiction. It's global. It's open to everybody. You can be in China, you can be in Zambia, wherever you are in the world, you can be able to get your own address on a blockchain of your choice and be able to either use your funds to buy some cryptocurrency and also be able to send it, be able to purchase where it is accepted to be used. So in that way, many get access to get into the financial in the financial world through the new financial technologies. And also one other thing that is benefiting people, not only just people, even the financial institutions themselves have been trying these things out. The banks are doing so, and nations have woken up to the fact that using blockchain, because it streamlines a number of issues which were an issue before when you had centralized systems. But with blockchain, using it in clearinghouse, it halves the time, or not even halves, it cuts through the time that it takes for clearing transactions, interbank transactions, international transactions, and that comes also with the lowering of the cost. So when you're looking at both cross-border remittances, as Africans, we've got so many people in the diaspora sending money back home. So if you can cut through that, be able to send, cash straight through such kind of systems, you'll find that you are spending less, by far less, than you would, using the other monetary remittance services. So that in financial inclusion, and also, I mean, if you really think about it, going back to financial to cross-border remittances, in certain places, since you can't, the barrier to entry to use bank accounts and all that is high, so it means that you might be locked out of secure ways to send money because of such kind of setups. So having blockchain-based services opens the way for people to be able to send money securely in that sense. So this has been touted as one of the reasons and one of the features placed into blockchain itself, the issue of transparency. The issue of transparency, having a transparent system, apart from it being a transparent system, but having a system in which many players are able to interoperate, in one system, being able to handle a number of players, and players being able to check out what they need. Let's say a supply chain, being able to have all that information in one place. I remember when we were holding the workshop for Smart Zambia, the e-government agency of Zambia, we had some of the customs people. Yeah, I think we had some customs people. When we spoke to them about this, they were asking us like, oh, when can we have it? Because as you are explaining, I see how this can help us in customs, because this information is sitting on somebody, some other system. That information is sitting on another system. It's such a bottleneck. And these kinds of systems, reduce that. They are able to streamline such kind of issues. So in that way, you begin to see how it can be so helpful to alleviate waiting times, alleviate delivery times, and in a way, for that farmer who's waiting for the stuff to be dropped so that they can get paid and all that, that reduces that time. Then economical empowerment and wealth creation. So you get opportunities in microfinance and decentralized finances, financial services. What do I mean? Decentralized financial services are basically what you would get as financial services that are sitting in traditional banking, lending. You're talking about borrowing, saving, and all of that. But picture that outside the bank, right? Held, services held on decentralized systems, like on the blockchain, and people having the opportunities to be able to access these and these loans are not geolocation restricted. So you can go on platforms which are maybe based in America, and provided that you qualify, you qualify for collateral, you have all that what is needed, these funds can be dispersed to you. And I think one of the hits, which I think is a hit, is the issue of tokenization. And this is what's most important, especially when it comes to this level of technology and implementation. The issue of being able to tokenize property, assets, and the like, and also being able to have a fraction of that asset. Sometimes what keeps people away from having, let's say, invested into things, or having able to have a piece of the nation's pie, is the lack of that ability to fractional, is it fractionalize? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's to fractionalize the price of that asset. So let's say a government wanting to raise investment, isn't it? To raise funds, they can tokenize an asset, pick a mineral, pick bonds or whatever it is, so that just a moment.
What up?
All right, all right. No, I have a hitch. My daughter has just bombed my space. I'm trying to get rid of her. Sorry about that. So yeah, talking about tokenization, this enables wealth creation and wider distribution of funds. And this is one of the things that we in Africa are dying to see. Can this go down to the to the common man without this just belonging to the elite? So these are some of the things that services on decentralized systems that are based on blockchain are trying to address, opening the door, not just for the elitists, but for each and every other person having the ability to enter in. Then, I looked at cost-effective, so cost-effective data management. How do we have like right now, a number of nations are scratching their heads. Like I said, we've had an opportunity to meet with some e-government agencies. Last in February, we met with 5 e-government agencies. We hosted them in Cape Town, and we went through some of these things. And things that popped up were, how do we solve digital identity? How do we let's say solve data management? There is a cry, this is public data, and some of that public data shouldn't be in the hands of the public. How do we segregate such kind of stuff? And these setups are able to offer such kind of applications, where you can have digital identities that can mirror what the regulations of a nation need, and be able to have that on digital. Then one of my favorites, empowering African entrepreneurs. So because of having new money means new industry. It means new ecosystem. So it means that you have an opportunity to introduce new marketplaces that give birth to new jobs. That is what has been happening in the space. And apart from that, I can give this to every one of you straight, as in, this is a fact. Blockchain companies, most of them are blockchain as a service. So they want as many people building businesses on them. And because of that, they've got incentives of being able to fund businesses, provided they are viable and provided they can work on the chain. So we have seen that impotence, dealing with blockchain platforms. The ability, they are so willing to bring people in. They have founded a number of businesses in Africa. We've been able to, let's say, host startup initiatives with some of our partners, so that they look at some of the work that is happening in Africa, and being able to pick out some of the businesses and, run them through incubators, and ultimately, they become viable businesses in that sense. So there is a lot of money in that sense. And the other thing that has come up of late, I know, dealing with blockchain like NIA are into funding, systems of funding that are blockchain based, where they look at wide ranging projects. And connect funders together with those that need funding. So let's say I know NIA does a lot of work in the area of forestation, carbon, what do they call it? Carbon footprint, and the credits and all that goes into that, funding reforestation and all of that. Pick it up on that level, you get others that are using their chain equally to fund many humanitarian projects. So you see that becomes another area equally, provided there is mutual interests that align. And we have seen such kind of things happening in the space. I've seen holding training sessions and workshops where we have brought companies together, even companies that have benefited from funding and they are operational, bringing them to meet businesses that we are introducing these spaces to and saying, well, listen, this is the way it looks like, this is what you can get, and all that. So in a nutshell, I don't want to go so far. I think I've covered what is most important from my side. So in a nutshell, that is what I know, as in what is happening in the space. And I think this is how I would love you to position yourselves and say, well, this is what it can do. This is what we can get from it. And this is what is being offered right now in the space. Currently, this is what is in the space. As UEBA, we work with a number of players in the space. Currently, we are working with the Stellar Foundation. The Stellar Foundation is a blockchain. We are working with Tether. We've worked hand in hand with Tether and Tezos as a blockchain on the governmental interactions and engagements that we've been having. And as we speak right now, we are making inroads to see whether we can also have what we had in Cape Town. It also went to Tanzania. We were in Tanzania equally in July, speaking to the intelligentsia in Tanzania. We had the ministries, we had the central bank, and so being, having those platforms where we are able to share this information, and also having a marketplace where they can come together and see whether they can agree. I think let me stop here, and we can get into the answer and session. I hope this has been helpful.
Yeah, Brother Larry, thank you so much. This has been really helpful, and you have given us a lot to think about. Before we proceed to questions, comments, and discussions to come later, but let's do questions and answer session now. But before we go on to the question and answer session, does Brother Kama need to do a presentation to back up what you have shared with us?
Brother Kama?
Hello? Yeah, yes?
Yeah, Brother Kama has just texted me to notify me that he's experiencing network problem.
Okay.
But he had actually shared a presentation on crypto mining that I'll only share the link to YouTube for members who would be interested.
Yes, he did. And he did send us a video to watch. And he said that if we had any questions, he would then answer them. So that's why I'm asking
No,
sorry?
He's not able to join us now as we speak.
That's understandable. So in that case, let's focus on what Brother Larry has to say.
All right.
But Brother Larry, perhaps let me start with some questions, and then we'll open the floor to other questions. I have 4 questions. Please answer them very briefly so that others can also ask questions. The first question is to do with cryptocurrency. What is your view of it?
All right. Cryptocurrency is a fantastic application. But if you are getting into inroads in cryptocurrency, it should be one that is informed. You must be well informed, get to understand what it can do, what it is doing, and also moving past the hype, and the get rich quick things that are happening, because there's a number of stuff that is others from what I've explained, if you have a currency that doesn't need so much regulation, then it means that others are also trying to come in using that those privileges to circumvent all sorts of things. So if cryptocurrencies are anonymous, you can't trace a user. They are peerless and anonymous, that way they are private. So others are using those same caveats, to circumnavigate and all that. So walk into there well-informed. Cryptocurrencies are alternative digital currencies. And you see that coming into 2019, especially during COVID, Bitcoin adoption grew much, much more, especially that especially the financial world, the what you call them, the investment and all that, hedge funds and all that, because dollar was falling hardcore. So they saw a refuge in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. And during that time, adoption grew. So one of the biggest cryptocurrencies, the giant of them, is Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is heavily slanted towards investment, speculation and all that. Okay. So that is where the hype is. So unless you are into that, then it works. For everyday use, not. Then the other cryptocurrencies, it is an issue of understanding what does it do before you get into it. So I advise study. I advise study and understanding whether this works for me or not.
Okay. So would you advise, this is a follow-up question on that one, will you advise your brother to go into mining crypto?
Mining crypto, this is what exactly mining crypto is. There's two definitions of mining crypto. What is conventionally known as mining crypto is what happens with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, as I said earlier on, is because of time, we couldn't go through all the the technicalities and all that. What is known as crypto mining is the maintaining of the Bitcoin network. So you get computers, Bitcoin, it is set in such a way that they invite other computers to maintain the network. The computers, private computers, are the ones that maintain the network. That maintaining the network is what is known as mining. So as they are maintaining the network, they are also mining, as in producing the Bitcoin. They are the ones who actually produce the Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin that comes into the circulation, it comes through the mining nodes or the mining computers. So the whole process of maintaining, producing, keeping the network secure by those devices is what is known as mining. Then there is the other mining. The other mining is where companies, they give this incentive to people saying, well, we are actually mining. So if you invest your money in our mining outfit, because miners, apart from them doing it as individuals, if I can track back a bit, so the issue of mining on a platform, right, or ensuring that a platform is running right, and the intensive incentive that comes for those people. You can mine as individuals or you can mine as a group of people. So there is this idea amongst those who are doing the different type of mining that we have come together as a company and we have got mining equipment that is attached to so and so platform. So if you invest in us, we pay you back a fraction of what you have invested on our mining. I hope it makes sense. So these two are two different things.
Right.
Yeah. The other one is an investment scheme that is off-chain. It is not even related to the chain. And chances are that you need to do your research to see what exactly they are talking about as in mining.
So with the latter one that you've explained, the corporate one, how do people make money?
It is basically just like any other multi-level marketing setup. All right. So remove mining and just, let's say, put whatever monetary type of product. It is not necessarily that it is multi-level marketing that is backed by a commodity that you can actually see. Let's say, Forever Living, you've got a product, but they are using money as a product. So as they always advise in such a way, when you're doing that kind of multi-level marketing, you need to be conscientious. You need to be conscientious because the product that they are offering. So in this case, they are offering they are saying they are playing in the cryptocurrency ecosystem, right? But they are not on chain. These are private companies that are selling that as a product where there is basically no product. So in multi-level marketing, they usually move to caution.
So it sounds like a fraud.
Yes. So you need to really, that's why I'm saying you need to do your research. You need to do your research.
Right. Okay. The second question is, how do you think, based on your experience with blockchain so far, how do you think we can use blockchain technology for the liberation, unification, and development of Africa? I know there's a lot there. Liberation.
Yes.
Development. But pick whichever you like. How do you think we can use it?
All right. If I understand liberation, empowerment of Africa, now we are talking about something that is wide-ranging and far-reaching. It requires, we are looking at economical upliftment and let's say, can we get our people to have more participation in, let's say, an economy? What kind of drivers can we use? So where blockchain comes in, it comes in as a service on the service level. So we are looking at many players. Like I'm saying right now, we are, when we get to talk to governments, it's how can we, let's say, can we do this cheaply so that it can help our people better? Can we have records that people can be able to access with ease without having to go through all this? Can we, let's say, have able to track our property with transparency so that people are not losing money? Can we have a system that is able to save us less money in transactions, right? That the blockchain can offer. I think that is a direction. Yes, so, looking at the context. Yes.
Your answer is that there is something there.
Yes, there is. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because one of the things we'll be pleased to know going forward, not necessarily today, is that, as you know, our economies are neo-colonial economies, which means they're under the direct control of the former imperialists. We want to liberate our economies from neo-colonial control. First, the control of our own elites, like you mentioned, our own elites. And then secondly, from their masters. So if there is any way we can liberate our economies from their control so that the people themselves can, through blockchain technology, then liberate themselves and so on, that for me will be a great way forward. Well, what are your thoughts on
that? That's a great question. Looking at that, the implementation of decentralized technology comes from this idea that the second level of how can I call it, the second level of IT technology is more centralized based. It has been a place where big tech has benefited where people haven't benefited. So the idea of decentralized tech is that no. The people are the actual god in these systems and they are not benefiting. So can we have a system where everybody does benefit? So in a way, it is an outcry and an implementation of an outcry to say, well, can we have systems that are able to free people from the tyranny, free people from the enslavement of, big tech companies, which have centralized things. So if you look at it from that way, then say, well, how can I use this? Can I use it? Because this technology is not only in the hands of people, it's not for sale. Today you can go and it's open source. So which means that you can get them and use them to better yourselves.
Okay, so blockchain is like air, yeah? Nobody controls air. Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody controls air. If somebody could control air, they would package it, and some of us will die because we can't have access to air to breathe. Okay, thank you for that. That is something we will pick up later. The other question I want to ask you is, why do you think the security blockchain leaders, a lot of leaders in the blockchain technology were killed systematically? Why were they killed, as far as you know?
Not that I know anyone who has died that way.
Well, as you know, though some of the okay, if you're not aware of that, let's leave that for the moment. Let's go to the papers. So, are you able to share with us some of the key research behind the blockchain technology? You mentioned, for instance, a thesis that a guy wrote. Is it David Carr? You said. Is that something you can share with us in the?
All right.
Okay, so let's open the floor now whilst you're looking into that. So, brothers and sisters, here we have it. Blockchain technology.
So, one thing that I'd like to say,
anarchy wasn't good.
Yeah. So I have placed I've placed a link to the Bitcoin white paper. So
okay.
I'll also give you this link here. So at least this is a place where you can find most of this stuff. Then it should be able to help you with if you're looking for anything coin related, anything blockchain related, you'll find it here. This is a safe place to begin any form of research.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I have the name of a few people who were killed. These were individuals associated with the cryptocurrency industry. But I appreciate that. That's, like you were saying, that's not the same thing as the blockchain industry. Crypto is an application of blockchain, but it's not. So I appreciate that. A lot of people were killed, especially in between 2022 and 2023. About 8 of them were all killed. They all died under mysterious circumstances, and the speculation is that the security services of all the leading countries, including China, US, that they all teamed up to kill them because they saw them as a threat to the global financial system. But anyway, let's leave that aside for now. Let's hear from our distinguished audience who have questions. So we will go from person to person. Normally we'll call a lady and then we'll call a gentleman in that order, so there is a balance. Our brother Carrington has his hands up, so let's hear from our brother Carrington, and then we'll hear from the lady, and then in that order. Brother
If
Carrington,
they-
your question, please.
If
Thank
there's
you.
an order, I can follow the line. It's fine.
That is the order. You speak first, and then the lady speaks in that order. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Larry. That was a very wonderful presentation. My background involves some bit of literacy with these issues. So that was a wonderful presentation, which I enjoyed. So I will start with a few questions on problems and also questions on opportunities, just 2 questions. One.
So, Brother Carrington, at this point,
Mhm.
let's do question and answer session.
Yeah.
If you have anything to say in terms of comment, leave that for the discussion. Yeah. Let's take some quick questions now, and then we'll move into
and then we'll go into
discussion. Yes.
Okay. So, Brother Larry, I would like you to maybe tell us a little bit more about this issue of, you've already spoke about it, the verification problem, how to verify blockchains, and because of this, the computational intensity of verifying transactions on the blockchain. They could be cryptocurrency transactions, etc., and the computational intensity that comes with that. So this paradox that as a blockchain network grows,
So what is the question?
It becomes slower. So
what is the question?
Yes, that is the question. So how do we essentially resolve this, especially in Africa where we have compute constraints? And also I'd like you to talk a little bit about majority attacks on the network, specifically with the hostile actors in an independent African network. Thank you.
All right. So first and foremost, the architecture of a system will determine how it scales. And let's take, for instance, right now, Bitcoin, right? There was an issue that was raised that they needed to change some stuff in the protocol so that, let's say, the time that it takes to verify, that time it takes to verify, and there was resistance. And also, let's say, the work of having a second layer on top of it to handle other things. So it is an issue of the architecture first of a system. So it cannot just say, let's say it's unique to, let's say if there was blockchain stuff that was created right here by Africans. So it will be an issue of, firstly, how do you want to create your system? And right now we are sitting at a good place because others have been able to do some stuff, and we have seen some of the constraints that came up with blockchain, Bitcoin, and were solved by Ethereum. And you also know that Ethereum has got its own issues with scale. So how has Ethereum solved some of that? Some of that has been solved by making, second layers, applications that handle some of the stuff. And you find other blockchains such as I think Polygon, Consensus, that have gone a step further to solve issues with energy. Can we have less energy guzzling networks and all that? So I think you look at it from, if you're creating now, it will be an issue of what do I want regarding scalability. And obviously, if you're looking at a conventional blockchain system, between the 3 tiers, when you move towards one side, if it's speed, you are also taking away from security. So that is the dilemma that is there. So you need a balance between that. And as always, as I opened, every system has got its own limitations. So you need to check out what the limitations are and what you are able to do with it. Yeah. So it is not constrained. So here in Africa, you can build systems based on what you are looking at doing. That's the thinking. That is the thinking in building intake.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Brother Carrington was clapping his hands, so he was very happy with your answer.
Yes, thank you. It was very clear.
Yeah. Let's take a sister. I know there are no hands up, so I'll just ask if you have a question. Sister Chizomo, do you have a question, please?
No, not at the moment.
Thank you. Let's go to brother Pigeon. Brother Pigeon, do you have a question?
I have a comment, so I'll do it at comment session.
You do or don't?
I don't have a question. I have a comment later.
A comment. Okay. Let's go to Sister Ida. Sister Ida, do you have a question for Brother Larry? Okay, so Sister Ida is not responding. So let me go to Brother Sam.
Sorry. I'm out, so I'm a bit. I have been listening though, and I did wonder.
Do you have a question for Brother Larry then?
Sort of.
Yes.
You were talking about mining, people mining, and then I thought of your daughter, who you said had bombed you. What happens to the miners whose system isn't very good? Do you not use them? I mean, do you sort of decide who's good enough on their with their email systems? You know, with their
yeah. So
digital
gets
systems.
Thank you. All right. So let's look at the Bitcoin mining. So the idea of mining is that the computers that are connected, that are maintaining the system, they all maintain the ledger. They keep the history of the ledger. So these are fail-safe systems, fault-resistant systems. It's created as a fault-resistant system. So as one of the tenants in the system. So they want a system where if half of the machines were down, the system still runs. So each of those computers are basically servers, each having the same information, and each of them participating in refreshing and keeping the history of that machine. So the idea that comes in is the competition between the machines to update the ledger. So that is where the computation, the work comes in. So the machine needs to show work and prove that it has worked. So that is them solving mathematical computations until one of them is able to find that figure. So when that machine finds that figure, then that machine is given, it broadcasts to the validating machines. And those say, well, fantastic, you have found this. You can now be able to update the ledger. Then everybody else participates. So now to answer your question, amongst all those machines, as they are all vying to be the candidate to have solved that problem, you'll find that the issue of computational power will come in. So the machines which are more powerful will stand a better chance because obviously they are able to, cycle through many tries more than a machine which is less powerful. So in that sense, you'll find that if your machine is not as powerful, chances are that you might not be the machine that actually gets to win that chance to validate. So also attached to a machine that gets to validate is also the incentive that that machine that wins validation is the one that is given so let's say if the reward is 12 Bitcoin, that machine is given 12 Bitcoin. So that is where the incentive lies. And that is where you see so many people trying to get in because they know they will make that money. But can I also say this? For a machine that is not as powerful, the machine can join a pool, and that fraction that it is able to give in computing power, it is paid according to that fraction. So that is what solves it that way. So yeah, that's just about it. So also that way of incentivizing, that is also what keeps the system healthy, so that there is not just one player, but there are so many players. That way, curbing what the brother was talking about, the 50% attack. Yeah, I hope that helps. That helps.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks. Sister Ida, is your question answered?
Yes, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's now go to Brother Sam.
Thank you, and evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Brother Kwame, I'm not sure if my question is really clued on, but I want to find out, is at this stage as we speak, is there not already a monopoly that favors the people who are already rich in this regard? And I'm raising this issue because we have systems that we are already applying, and maybe they are not as fast and as quick making people rich, like the M-Pesa system, where people are able to disperse monies into the neighboring countries and vice versa.
Yeah, Brother Sam.
Is these systems?
Brother Sam.
Sorry.
Yeah, Brother
Hello.
Sam. Brother Sam.
Hello.
So, Brother Sam,
I'm listening.
so your question is there a blockchain application over which someone has a monopoly? Is that your question?
And is this not stifling the initiatives at the lower levels? And I'm saying this, as I said, with the M-Pesa systems that have been on the ground now.
Okay.
And therefore, breaking down the initiatives of some of the African initiatives. And I'm raising this issue because here in South Africa, we have a case of the MTN saga. After MTN was in operation, a worker, an African worker who was working for this company, came with the please call me Vodacom, Vodacom, yes. He came with a please call me factor. And up till today, even the country's highest court order cannot make Vodacom pay the expense of that please call me project that the worker came with. So I'm asking this in relation to that. Thanks.
Sam, thank you. We don't know much about this Vodacom thing you're talking about, so we assume. So, okay, but I think your question is clear. Your question is the blockchain technologies application, is there a monopoly over it, and how would that affect us? That clearly is your question. Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
Brother Larry.
Yes. I'll look at it this way, and proprietary wise, and also systems implementation wise, we are talking about frameworks in which services sit. So let's say, can I give you one, like if you are using Google, if you're using Android phone, you are obviously getting serviced by Google Play Store to get your stuff, isn't it? To get your apps and all of that. So you are looking at Google as a framework in which services are provided. So blockchain is basically like that. It's a framework in which systems exist. So to look at it as a monopoly in that way, in the case of building systems, it doesn't feature in that sense. But yes, how do other players who can build things based on that compete with existing systems as M-Pesa? Right. So now we are looking at it from the point of view of builders, right? So M-Pesa has got an underlying system. So whether that underlying system is great enough for M-Pesa, or M-Pesa can also borrow from this system to make its system much better, much more efficient, and much more cheaper. If that works for them, then it works. So you look at it from that point of view. But from now, the point of view of people making technologies which they use with other players. In the case of the Vodacom saga, isn't it? It now goes to the issue of the person who makes this proprietary software. Did he make it for the company? So now players on that level, now they need to start having some wisdom as they make these things. Do I give it to this company? And if I'm giving it to this company, how did I negotiate? So I think that is the way we need to look at it. Did he make it as a worker for the company, and did he give it to the company, and later on, now that he has seen that it has made so much money, is like, hang on, wait a minute, can I have a bit of that? So some of those things, those are the things that we're looking at from the point of view of people who are building services, right? You get into these initially, what kind of deals do you make? So we need to also learn in this area, so that in the end we don't sell out things that become unicorns and we have got no way of benefiting.
Yeah, I think Larry, you will agree with that. That was a great question. That was a great question because it goes to the heart of how we lose all the time.
Yes.
As you know, there is a university, there is a lab in one of the universities in America where they have all our local herbs and so on, everything. And it's in that lab, and that is where the pharmaceutical industries create, as I understand it, all these medicines. These things belong to us, and yet other people are benefiting. So I think that was a great question. So thank you very much, Brother Sam, for asking that question. And thank you, Brother Larry, for also answering.
For the answer.
Yeah, because then what it means is that the technology itself cannot be owned by anyone. There's no monopoly over it. And that means that we as Africans, if we are talking about unification, liberation, development of Africa, then we should be asking ourselves, how do we use the technology? This is my understanding, Brother Larry. Correct me if I'm wrong. How do we use the technology so that we can liberate, unite, and develop ourselves?
Exactly.
Good. So thank you for affirming that. Let's now go to a sister. Sister Shaza.
Hello, greetings.
Greetings, sister. It's always a pleasure to hear your voice. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed unless it is faced, of course.
Of course.
Thank you for that. Yes, your question for Brother Larry, please.
I don't have any questions at this moment in time. I did come in late, a bit late.
I'm sure you'll be part of the discussion when it starts. Let's then go to Brother Michael.
Hi, good evening. This is a new area for me, so I'm just broadening my knowledge. Thank you very much.
For all of us, brother. Do you have any questions for Brother Larry?
Not at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Sister Jerotic Koski. I hope I pronounced it right. I know you were trying to correct us the last time. I hope I got it right. I know you have another name, sister in them, but anyway, yes. Please correct me now so that I'm corrected. What's the correct pronunciation?
Jerotich.
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 And what about the second name, the Koski? Is that the surname, or is that part of your? Okay, so
that's my surname.
That's your surname. Thank you very much. She said, Jerotich. I know you have another name because brother Pigeon has also called you another name. I think he knows you by another name. But anyway.
I prefer my African names.
Which one is the African name?
Jerotich Kosgei. They are both African.
Excellent. Good. All right. Sister Jerotich, please, your question for or to Brother Larry. Thank you.
Brother Larry, thank you. I am learning. I am having a backseat on this one. I'm just observing from afar. So no questions so far.
Thank you.
That's all right. Thank you very much, Sajero Teach. Let's go to Brother the King, Mauli.
Okay, greetings. My question stems from, one is a remark and one is also about.
No remark at this stage. Just a question. We'll come to remarks
Just a
after
question.
this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So basically, with this, can't we merge it with the after project, since it's more or less or look like it's an e-commerce kind of thing, and after seems to also focus on economic development.
Okay. So your question is, so your question, can blockchain technology become the basis for the African free trade continental area? That's the question you're asking. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that is correct. And that is number one. Number two, with the advent of all this AI, robotic system and all those stuff, how safe are we that one day this system that is supposed to be owned by no one, AI could actually have control by learning more about the binary systems and all those stuff and taking over it?
Yeah. So, Brother the King, today's presentation was not on AI, but if Brother Larry wants to answer it, that's fine. But the key question, the first question, I think, is at the heart of what he's presented because of the question of economic empowerment. So, Brother Larry, over to you. After Brother the King's question, there's only one more person left, Dumi Sani, and then we'll go on to hear the African anthem, and then we'll have the discussion. So, Brother Larry, African free trade area and blockchain technology, yes.
So it will. I'll answer this question in this way. It will depend on what the free trade, if I got it right, is the African free trade area.
Free trade area, yes. So the African continental free trade area. So,
that is the wing that is. That is the wing that is part of the African Union, eh?
Well, yeah. So that is meant to be the agreement that the whole of Africa we're able to trade amongst ourselves. Brother Pigeon, hold on, Brother Pigeon, because you are part of this. Brother Pigeon.
Yes, I'm here, Brother Kwame.
Tell us something small about the continental area so that Brother Larry can answer it.
No, I just wanted to be sure, so that I know what I'm dealing with. Yeah. I'm quite aware. Yeah.
Brother Pigeon to say a few because he's been part of some of the negotiations. So I think it would be good for you to hear just something small from him. Then you can.
Okay. Africa Free Continental Trade Area want to operate like a common market in EU, whereby goods across the continent can move freely without barriers like tariffs, non-tariff barriers, customs, and even issues to do with standards of goods and the rest. Of course, at the heart of that will be then, if goods move freely, then a common currency or a common system of payment will also have to be developed. So that in the free movement of goods, there's also a common payment system. Because if payment system have to be changed in terms for example, how much can you receive in terms of monetary currency? Like Ethiopia, you cannot withdraw an Ethiopian bank, I think, up to close to 3 million Kenyan shillings, which is around $20,000. So then it means a trader who is exporting to Ethiopia cannot be able to withdraw or pay for goods beyond that. So then that means the aspect of economics now come in. How can you solve that payment mode as goods and trade is moving on freely? Because if you don't solve that, then it's still an hindrance to that trade.
Okay.
All right. So
thank you very much, Brother Pigeon, for that.
Yeah. I think this question always reminds me of okay, firstly, let me just go straight to it. Let's look at what the Chinese are doing with BRICS. So the Chinese at this level, in fact, when you look at what the Chinese are doing with the yuan, right? They've already made the digital twin of the yuan, and they've been doing that experiment, and it's working for them, right? they've used the same technology to do that. And they are also pushing that in BRICS as a way that they can use a payment system, develop a payment system that is able to meet some of those bottlenecks. So that is how they are considering it. So let's go on the level of money on central bank level and international. Or let's talk about central bank level on that level. So the idea, even amongst central banks, is how do you integrate this technology so you build you are able to build your digital twin of your currency, basically, have that as a currency. So you are talking about the area of central bank decentralized, is it central bank digital currencies, sorry, and on top of that, again, then you are going to work at looking at how do you have these incorporated in monetary policies. So first and foremost, obviously, monetary policies will have to inform how this technology has to play. We cannot go away from that. We cannot go away from that, firstly. So you are looking at money, you are looking at policies, what policies are needed, and if there is lack of regulation, what kind of regulation do you need? So you can bring it down to domestic, you can take it up, you bring it on the national level, you bring it to international level. How do we interact on that level? But the technology is there currently. So a good number of these players are trying it. Some have it's in sandboxes, and some, as I've given you the Chinese system. If you're looking at a system to say, well, how do they implement it? I would recommend looking at what the Chinese are doing using the same technology on international collaboration in that sense in BRICS. I think that is how you can be looking at how do you implement that. Yeah.
No, thank you for that. I mean, if you are able to do a second presentation for us on how it's being used within BRICS, that will be welcome. The reason is that we had a session on BRICS last week, I believe, on BRICS because of the recent Kazan meeting in BRICS, and they issued a declaration, and we discussed that. And one that I was not able to participate myself very well. One of the things that we wanted to look at was the financial system, because, as you've rightly said, the BRICS system became important because of the fact that the dollar was used as a weapon by the US against Russia because of the invasion of Ukraine. And so it became clear that, contrary to what America had said, that it won't use the dollar as a weapon, it clearly showed it can and will. So that is why a lot of countries now are moving from the switch system and seeing how they can protect themselves. So if you are able to do a presentation for us on digital currency, what the Chinese are doing, and BRICS, that will be great. But obviously, think about it and let us know if you're able to talk to or not. So thank you very much for your response. Let's go to the last person, Dumisani, and then we'll open the floor for discussion. Thank you. Dumisani, you are the last to ask a question. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks so much, Brother Larry, for an interesting presentation. You partly asked my question. What I wanted to throw at you is that, as an expert, if we had to start, I heard you about the China. Which area particularly would you recommend as an expert to say, maybe this is where?
Sorry.
Brother Dumisani, you have muted yourself. Please unmute yourself. Brother Dumisani, please unmute yourself and proceed before Brother Kwame plays the African Union anthem.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Can you hear us, Brother Dumisani? If you can hear us, you have muted yourself.
Oh, yeah, finally. I was sorry for that.
So it happens. It happens all the time. Yeah, carry on.
I was struggling to unmute myself. Yeah, Brother Larry, thank you so much for an interesting presentation. I was saying you partly asked what you answered what I wanted to ask is if you had to advise and expect quick wins that we can start with to work on other than a big bricks one as an expert, where would you say we start? Quick win for us. Thanks.
I guess we start where the tech is and where it is actually working. So we are looking at the area of where people have been able to get jobs. You know, can we give these guys an opportunity to come in, create more jobs? Or do we also learn and also take that up and also solve some of our solutions? I mean, solve some of our problems, you know, with these things and use them as solutions. Because we have seen that where these people are coming in, they are creating jobs. You know, just like a mine is able to buy other things from other people around them, you know, they create that system where people are all benefiting from that. That is where we start. That is where we start entrepreneurship. That is where we start.
But Misani, that's it, or do you have a follow-up question? Because I think that was
no,
a great
I think
question.
No, it will. Maybe I'll add on comments, but for now, I'm happy. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Let's hear the anthem, and then we'll open the floor for comments and so on. What I'm interested in, Brother Larry, is can we use it for voting? There's too much fraud in voting in African countries. Can we use blockchain technology for voting so that there's no more election when you never won the election?
My brother, that's a very hot question. That is a very hot question.
Well, let's hear the anthem, and then we will open the floor for discussion. Here we go.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa a tree of life. Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bonds that frame our destiny. Let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us all unite and toil together to give the best we have to Africa, the cradle of mankind, the font of culture, our pride and hope at break of dawn. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life.
Wonderful. Ooh. Yes, thank you very much, Brother Larry. So we are now moving to. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just to let you know that Brother Kama is in as you move to the next session. Palmer Achunde, the officer.
Yes. Yes. But he said he couldn't speak because of technology issues.
Yeah, but it's back. So you can consider the few minutes you are having.
Yeah, that's fine. So we are now in the discussion session. We haven't got a long time, but Brother Pigeon will lead us in the discussion session till the end of for the rest of the evening. Thank you, Brother Pigeon.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Larry, for the presentation, Brother Kwame, and all those who have asked their questions. Literally, we are having 10 minutes to go. We'll try always to end it at the exact time. So here is beyond question, but basically it can be a remark you have or a point you want to raise. So feel free to do that in a minute, please. So I'll go through my list once again and request a minute per person if you can manage that to share anything general. So let me start in my order by Brother Carrington, Sister Ida, then Brother Dumi Sani, in that order. Brother Carrington?
Yes, just one quick one. I think just to build up on the idea of the continental free trade area, something that blockchain technology we might think of doing is having blockchain technology work without the internet through SMS, which would accelerate transactions in the continent. And if the Pan-African payment system or the African continental free trade area, people are a bit slow, then the system could work independently of them. But nonetheless, this is a necessary infrastructure. Brother Larry talked about it as a service, but I think it's an infrastructure just as important as our roads and electricity. Thank you very much. That was a lovely presentation.
Thank you. And this that will unite us and not divide us in various currency we have today. Thank you. Sister Ida? Sister Ida?
Sorry, I'm here. What were you saying?
This is the last part where you have to put a comment or anything else you want in a minute.
I did like the presentation very much. It was very clear. I liked the bit about the blockchain. I wasn't sure about the money bits in the end, but I did like everything he had to say. And I thank him for answering my question, because if his daughter hadn't done that, I wouldn't even have thought of it. And he gave such a nice reply. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Ida. Brother Dumisani, a minute.
Thank you. I love the data management of the system, particularly now building on the entrepreneur using the Africa Free Trade, but also the database wherein we'll start looking at a passport wherein through our data that we have across the continent, we'll move towards having one passport using this blockchain. I think it has very useful and interesting uses that we can start working on. No, I think that's my contribution. Thanks.
Thank you. I will move to Sister Chisomo, Brother King Mauli, and then Sister Gerotich. Sister Chisomo?
Hello. It's all new to me, so I'm learning, and I hope to listen to the recording again so I can understand it better.
Thank you. For the purpose of public notice, these recordings or these sessions are always recorded, and they are always available on our YouTube channel, Brother Larry, and any other person. So anybody can get back to them anytime to refer to any information, whether they were present or even they were not present. And you can also share this to any network you want to learn about this. Brother King?
So my challenge has been about the AI not taking over the system later in the future. Just as we think we are safe, then it becomes something that is being abused by the robotic system. But aside that, I think we are good to go. And if there is any possibility that Africa can own her own blockchain, I think it will be very, very good.
Thank you. Brother Larry, please consider to respond to that concern by Brother The King in your last remarks. Please just note it in your last remarks on his fear of AI taking over. Thank you. Sister Gerotich? Sister Jerotich. Any last remark, question, comment? Not question, actual comment or remark. Okay. Brother Michael, then Sister Shaza, then Brother Sam.
No, nothing for me, thank you. I'm just an observer, listening and broadening my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Sister Shaza? Brother Michael, I see your microphone is on and you've shared your comment. Let's go to Sister Shaza.
Hello.
Hello, sister.
Yeah, sorry, what was the question?
We are in the last phase of this. Any last remark, any comment in regards to this blockchain or the presentation?
No, I was just observing, listening. Yeah, I haven't really got anything else to add.
Thank you, Brother Sam.
Yes, for me, just to thank Brother Larry. I think the explanations were made clearer for us, but I'm just feeling bad that I missed the part where he said they were in Cape Town, and I'm not sure at what level was this private or the government was also involved. As for me, the quicker we get grips of all these technologies, the better we can bring the liberation and unity of Africa quicker. Thank you.
Thank you. Brother Larry is from Cape Town. I think he's based in Cape Town or from Cape Town or South Africa. Probably will expand that also in his remarks so that you can connect. I know you're in South Africa as well. So let me get to Brother Kama before then I get to Brother Kwame and then Brother Larry. Brother Kama, welcome, Brother Kama. Thank you for bringing to us Brother Larry. Indeed, it has been very grateful, insightful, and educative session for us. Brother Kama, any comment in a minute or two? Please do so.
No, thank you so much. Actually, like I said, I'm a former police officer, so I used him when I was investigating to understand the blockchain technology potential. Actually, my interest was solving two problems for Africa: the problem of migration and the problem of financial challenges, rather economic dependence at the individual level, wealth creation rather. So that's how I met Brother Larry. And my interest on solving the problem of migration, it uses an internet window. And you find that most of our youths that are migrating to Europe and other places for greener pastures, most of them are actually on internet. And then with the interest of cryptocurrency, it means there's a concept of globalization, being at home but working abroad. This is what the technology can afford us. What we just need, like I've been doing, is to find the asset that fits an African, that, when they acquire it, it becomes their property, and then they can exchange it for value so that they don't have to go outside their countries. It will be an aspect of them operating on this internet window and bring back Forex home for development. That's my view, and that was my interest.
Thank you, Brother Kama. Brother Kama, I've also shared in the chat, he had prepared a specific presentation to what we requested from CSG on how we can have funds for development of Africa through what we call crypto mining of a crypto called PI and other crypto mining. So the link is being sent in the chat, and please I request anybody to either tap that link on our YouTube channel so that you can also learn what he intended to present to us on the economy. And we'll look if there will be opportunity also for him to share more in regards to that. Brother Kwame?
Yes.
But before Brother Kwame come in, probably I would like Brother Larry to give a closing remark, then Brother Kwame come in.
I think so. Yeah, I think so, yes.
Yes. Brother Larry, we honestly appreciate your efforts. Indeed, this is an enlightenment to us, and to us, we are also conscientizing people. So it's an opportunity for us to look at the economic level of this I do appreciate your presentation. Look at it in regards of how do we liberate our economic system, which you have said by everybody being able to control it. Not everybody is able to actually own a bank account, even though they say we can have it. Not everybody is also able to put some funds in that bank account. And so that we look at it liberation in terms of economic liberation. We're looking at it in terms of unification, as what I'm saying, challenges with trade. If we can have a unified system of payment, that nobody will have to be worried of how will I get my payment from Ghana if I'm sending my goods in Kenya. In that way, then it unites us economically. It can also unite us in terms of data, and it can also unite us in terms of having one passport or informatory system. So all Africans need to have only one database system instead of each country protecting their own data. So I look at it in that level in terms of unification. And in terms of development, I look at it in all opportunity it brings in terms of empowerment, business setups, and SMEs, and all those innovation and technology as a building up a continental level. So that's what I look at it from, and I do appreciate this insight from you. I had a bad experience of my money disappearing sometimes back. The later I was hustling in some of the investment in terms of Bitcoin, but I appreciate the information. As you say, we need thorough research. So please take a minute or two to give us a final remarks and react on anything that has come out in this last session.
All right. So thank you so much. And these are tools that will help us achieve what we want. And they can be molded to, if we are looking at exclusivity in our implementation, they offer us that. They are open sourced tools that others are actually implementing right now, to build what they need for their systems. So this helps us to do so. And it helps us lower the bar so that economically, as we uplift ourselves and we unify, because there's no unity without firstly being able to become players in the system. So that will help us in that sense, if we look at it from that point of view. AI is not taking over the world, and not today, not tomorrow. This is programmed stuff that you actually do program, and it does what is programmed by human beings. So this stuff is programmed by human beings. Computers will always do what human beings tell them to do. Human beings are smarter than computers. They are the ones that come up with the code and all that. I'm speaking like that as I myself also I'm in training, coding training. So not today, not tomorrow. AI saves us. That's what it does in assistive positions. So I wouldn't look at it that direction. I know there's all sorts of hype and what Hollywood has been able to portray to us, but if you look at it from the assistive point of view, and also being able to handle some of the automation of your work that way, then you're looking at an efficient assistant that is able to break through some of the stuff and give you chance to focus on what you need to do. Yeah. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And as always, we need to look at what do we need and what kind of tools are available for us to solve our problems. The future is in our hands, and we need to get up and be able to do this ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brother Kwame.
In fact, thank you, Brother Pigeon, for that last session. And Brother Larry, thank you so much. I'd like to extend our friendship to you and ask you to become one of our members. You don't have to attend our classes all the time, but we'd like to see you as part of us.
Thank you.
The technology wing of CSG. So as you know, or don't know, when Nkrumah, in fact, if you go back to Marcus Garvey and what he was able to achieve and the technology that was available at the time, then you move forward to Kwame Nkrumah and the technology that was available in their time. There was no widespread telephone system in Africa. To send information to people, you have to use, in those days, it was called a telegram, and so on. And then we're now moving, even at the time when in Nkrumah's time, there was no computer as we know it. And then fast forward to today, we are now on the edge of blockchain technology. And the question has always remained the same. How do we unite Africa? And just as we are thinking about uniting, liberating, developing Africa, a new technology comes along. And what I have heard from you today is telling me that we, CSG, have to even now reconceptualize what we mean by unification of Africa. Because the blockchain technology is an endorsement of what philosophically is called anarchism. They told us that anarchism as a philosophy will not work. But blockchain is saying that it can work. I mean, and when our freedom fighters were thinking about dismantling the colonial government and going by, in fact, when Karl Marx and others talked about a post-government era where there's no more government and we are all free to do what we like and so on. People say it's Ethiopia and right technology that can actually do that. Anyway, let's put all that aside. Thank you so much for being here with us. Like I said, what I would like to hear from you more of maybe later is how can we use it to do two things. One, for voting, because there's too much stealing of elections in Africa. How can we use blockchain technology? Maybe that is another presentation you can do for us another time. The second thing I'd like to know is how can we use it to get rid of corruption at the highest levels? Those are my interests, because it's a corruption of the presidents through the neo-colonial system, who then corrupt the lawmakers with gifts and money and so on. And then the lawmakers then also, the legislators, then also corrupt the people by bribing them and giving them all kinds of monies. And so the whole African political system is corrupt from top to bottom. So if we can use blockchain technology to kind of solve it, that would be great. So those are first.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually aware of time. Brother Larry, whatever concerns raised by Brother Kwame, you can feel free to do any right of follow-up that you can share with us, or you can feel free to any day so that you can schedule some second session on this. At this particular moment, we'll end our session here, and I'll request that if you allow, I can be able to get a copy of your presentation, either through Brother Kama and your contact, so that I can add you to our broadcast list so that you can always get updates of our classes. And if you have time, you can attend some. We do this every Saturday and we have every Thursday session. So we'd like to end it here with some just advertisement or notice.
Yeah, I'm not expecting, Brother Larry, I'm not expecting to respond to my questions today. Yeah, but if you can present for another time, that would be great. Our time now.
All right. No, I'll be in touch with Brother Kama, and if there's anything, we'll communicate back with you.
Excellent. The time now is 7:08. We'll bring our meeting to a formal close. Brother PG, you can stop the recording now. Thank you. So we'll bring our meeting now to a formal conclusion. Thank you very much.